Hi, I'm Paul from Velo, and I've been a bike mechanic now for 17 years. And as some of you know, one of my favourite bikes is a Brompton, and I love working on them. And funnily enough, my customers like giving me them to work on. So today I'm going to show you what we're working on in the workshop, the various problems that I've got to overcome with some of these Bromptons I have around me. Let's go. It's Brompton SOS in the workshop. Ugh. So many Bromptons, I just don't know what to do. So we have, I think, 4 Bromptons in the workshop at the moment. I've also got to do a little bit of work to mine. I want to put my bigger chainring on. Just been finding the smaller chainring a little bit too easy. So that's in the pipeline to do. But what do we have here? We've got a few different Bromptons. This one, we'll start with this one. This one's a bit more of a modern one. Customers cleaned it for me before it comes for a service. Top points. It's a C-Line 6-speed, and it's just in for its first service. So touch wood, shouldn't be too much wrong with that. The customer's he's been watching our videos. He's really wants to look after the bike and is really concerned with making sure everything is lubricated and just keeping on top of it. And we had a big conversation about it and how Bromptons are brilliant. If they've been looked after and kept on top of, they last forever. Mine's coming up to 10 years old now, and it's just like new. But they can suffer a little bit, which we'll come on to some other bike in a minute when I talk about some of the other ones we got in the workshop. This one here, this one looks as though it's been a bit blinged up. I believe it's got some carbon rims, some Schwalbe 1 tyres. So it's kind of a bit more of a racier one. It's got a Chris King headset, which is, some of you will know is well expensive. So this customer's come in for a tune-up and a nice upgrade to an H&H 40 tooth chainring. He was going to go 39, but he did want the chain guard, because the thing with going to the 39 is you don't get the chain guard and oil does go on your feet. So this is a nice option. It's surprising how much the chain guard does to protect you from the oil. The way I get around it on my bike is I use a really light lubricant, but probably a 40 tooth is a good option, as it has a lovely chain guard. And I think, that chain guard must be aluminium as well. It almost looks as though it's cast out of one piece of aluminium because there's no join. So yeah, lovely. £90 with a bit of postage, so about 93 altogether. But yeah, that's going to look lovely on what is a bling bike. Now this one. So this bike is off to France for a tour. So I've got to get it ready. The customer has said to me it's been serviced recently. I might question that a bit because I went to pick it up and the gears don't work at all. It's just stuck in free. So a bit of work to do on that one, just to tune up, make sure it's fit and ready for the trip. These are the original Brompton tyres. They're good. They give you a good service life, but I do find over time they get a bit squishy. So we'll put some Marathon Pluses on this bike. Also, the rear one's quite, well, I wouldn't say bold, but the tread's gone. So there's no point in her going away with these tyres, as they could cause a problem where there's almost guaranteed no problems with the Marathon Pluses. So we'll do that, nice little tune up, see if it unearths anything. This is the titanium one, so it is nice and light. It's got a titanium fork and a titanium rear end. Something I thought about doing with mine, but I've just never taken the step. A little bit to do with cost, but also on mine, because the welds are exposed, they look really beautiful on the back and the front, so I don't want to take that away. But a bike like this with blue and the titanium looks good. So on to the last one. This is the bigger job that we're doing at the moment, and a bit of a priority, because this bike is used to go from the country lanes in South Gloucestershire to London. I presume there's a train somewhere in that journey. But it's had a bit of a hard life, starting by going up a big country lane and then going to London, folded, unfolded, back through all weathers. So it's suffered a little bit, as any kind of rim brake bike would. So it has to have new wheels. Now this one has a dynamo on the front, and I've just finished building it. So a big shout out to Brilliant Bikes. They're where we get a lot of our parts from. They have got a YouTube channel as well, so check them out. They really help us if we ever need to know spoke and rim combinations, because what you do is, for this dynamo hub, you buy a specific pack of spokes and a specific rim for this build. So it really helps us out when we can ring them and get advice and part numbers and everything. So they kind of help us expand our knowledge. So we've got a whole kit for the front wheel, that one's done. And then we've got a kit for the rear wheel. The main issues with this bike is the rims are just worn through. I couldn't safely work on the bike and give it back to the customer. The rear pad is like a couple of mil away from metal on metal. So the issue when you wear your rims down is they go concave. So if you're looking through the profile of the rim, they're like that. Braking is affected. The worst case I've seen, not on a Brompton, but on another bike, where someone wore through their rim. So you can almost see the inner tube and tyre. I mean, like, you know, some alarm bell should be ringing before that happens. I've built my wheels on my Brompton once. Probably if I start using it a bit more heavily, that maybe next year they'll be due. This one definitely, I couldn't safely do a service on it. It was a case of, do you want me to do all the work or I won't do any work? Because we've got our standards to keep, and also we don't want to be sending someone off having done a service and saying, yeah, the bike's okay, but you've got to watch the rims, and then they have an accident. That's not in anyone's interest at all. So yeah, a hard used bike, squeaky in places. It's going to have a new chain and rear cogs, new rear wheel as well as the front, new brake pads, and it should go back almost as new. The hinges have suffered a little bit from you know, riding and then not lubricating. So I've done what I can. That is so much better than when they came in. They didn't work at all really. So, but definitely something. The advice is from Brompton to put oil just on the hinges, just a little bit of like wet lube or oil just on there, just to make sure that corrosion doesn't build up. These are pressed in, so there's not loads you can do to unfree them. So yeah, but they are much better than when they came in. So this is the workload at the moment. We've got some other things going on, non-Brompton related wheels and group sets and things like that. So super busy time, but thanks for joining me and giving you a little insight into what we do when we service Bromptons and the different challenges, because each one of these Bromptons wants a different, every customer wants a different thing from their Brompton, and each Brompton is going to be used in a different way. So again, thanks for watching. Please subscribe.